Today I'm going to demonstrate one way that you can install a vinyl gate. What's going on? Welcome to today's video. My name is Colton and today I'll be demonstrating one way that you can install a 3-rail vinyl gate. Now I chose this gate specifically because the rest of the fencing around this patio area, I wanted it to match and I wanted this patio to be a little bit more private from the closest walking path. So I purchased this product from Home Depot and I'll put a link to that down below in the description along with all the other tools that I used for this project. And the time that it took me to complete this project was probably about an hour to maybe an hour and a half. So let's get started. Here's the space I want to install the gate. Grab the box the gate came in, make sure everything looks all right. I'm looking for any cracks, dings, gashes, major scrapes. If everything checks out, set it off to the side. Now measure the opening where you're going to measure your gate. Now I already have the posts where the gate is going to connect to. So if you don't have that, you're going to need to dig a hole, install the posts, and then you can watch this video as far as how to install the gate. When you're measuring, take the total width of this area and subtract 1 1/4. The reason for that is when you're completely finished, this will leave a 5/8 gap on both sides. Then take this measurement and translate it over to the horizontal rails, but before you make this mark, subtract 4 1/8 of an inch. This will help you get the most accurate cut, including the 5/8 gap on both sides of the gate and the jambs. So to reiterate, you need to take the total measurement minus 1 1/4 minus another 4 1/8. That's the length of your rails. Draw a line. I laid down the other 2 rails, took the line, drew it across the whole thing, then I cut it. Save these scrap pieces. I used mine later. Now I did a dry fit for the gate, laid one of the jambs down, put in all the rails, took the other jam, laid it on top. Some people use super glue and you just kind of line the edge of each rail when you put it in the jam, but I didn't want to deal with super glue, so I just skipped that. I did do a dry fit and this is going to look awesome. Next, I took those scrap pieces that I cut earlier, laid those down, and this is going to help create the gap at the bottom of the gate. Normally this calls for a 2-inch gap at the bottom, but if I went the full 2 inches, the gate would have gone beyond the posts and then it would have looked funny. Now take your brackets and your hinges, place them where you want them, and mark where the holes that you need to drill. So this does take some planning on where you want your hinges to be and how you want your gate to open. And when you take your drill and start drilling these holes, unless your aim is perfectly straight to go through the other side, which I doubt it is, you may have holes ending up like this when you try to fasten the brackets on. They just don't line up. So what I did was I took the bracket, held it on, then took my drill bit and drilled a hole so it would go through one side and then the other. And it worked out pretty well. Next, fasten it all down, put the bolts and the nuts, tighten it all up, make sure all of the nuts are on the same side, and make sure to not over tighten because you're working with plastic. Now you have the gate part assembled. Put this on the scrap pieces to create that bottom gap. Put it up against those posts. I pre-drilled the hole, added the screws, and tightened them down. Also make sure you get the screws on the inside of the gate and get all the required screws, especially around the hinges. Do this to both top and bottom hinges. You may notice when you close the gate entirely, there isn't that 5/8 gap, and when you look on the other side, the gate doesn't actually fully close. That's okay. All this can be adjusted. On the hinges, you'll see this nut on this side and also this nut right here. If you take 2 wrenches and tighten and loosen these, it actually starts to create that gap that you want on both sides of your gate. And keep an eye on the gate because you actually don't want to have this gate be completely flush yet. You want it to bounce a little bit and find that sweet spot so when you use the gate, it really pops into the locking position. Next, on the post, position your gate lever where you want it and fasten it down. You may want to pre-drill your holes with a smaller bit than the screw and then fasten your screw down. Do the same thing with the actual latch. Position that on the gate, fasten it down, and now you're done. Thank you so much for checking out today's video. If you liked what you just watched, go ahead and hit this button to subscribe so you don't miss out on future project and how-to videos that I have coming up. And be sure to click this link so you go check out previous how-to videos that I've completed in the past. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.